Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jackson, my co-host, and this is Get Spooky with uh, Tay the Monk. I'm sorry, Tay. How's everybody doing today? Prometheus, what's going on? Um, Lori, what's up? That's okay, we understand. Um, Pinky, what's up? Just E, what's the deal? What's going on? Um, Patty, what's going on? How are you doing? Chills TV, what's up? Jax, what's going on? Um, everybody else. Let's see. So, how are you doing today, Tay? Hey, Bat
Me?
Regan.
How am I doing?
Yeah,
I'm doing fabulous now.
nice. So, let's get started. Tell me a little bit more about what got you into the paranormal.
Well, I've been interested in this paranormal stuff my whole life, really. But it used to always when I was younger, we experimented with Ouija boards and stuff at my dad's house, and afterwards, I'd always be so scared for probably 2 weeks. I had this phobia every time I had a shower. I was too
Mhm.
scared to close my eyes to wash my hair just in case there was something going to pop up. And I was like, every time that happened, I'm like, I'm never doing it again, never doing it again. And then I'd do it again. And then for some reason, just of recently, so I moved up in Queensland 6 months ago and I started up Queensland my YouTube. I just started watching a whole heap of the paranormal kind of channels on YouTube, and I was just loving them. Instead of being scared by them, I was just enjoying them. And then it got to the point where I was like, hey, I'd really like to do this myself. Let's give it a crack. And that's really what got me into it. Yeah. Eli's picking his boogers.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey, just say what is it?
I had a phone call. Sorry, guys. So I know a lot of people. Um, they they go through the paranormal and they try to experience their own way of interpreting the word paranormal and venturing out. What's your very first um, property you ever investigated?
So my first investigations really were not anywhere that was haunted or listed online or anything. I just wanted to start. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to places around where I was living in Queensland
Mm-hmm.
that I got a funny vibe. And some of them I got my first two actually a lot of them I actually picked up some really interesting things. So
Mm-hmm.
that was just where I was living around Coomera Waters, which is this kind of big estate of different houses and all of that. My first property was my first real haunted location other than really Coomera Waters, I think, was the tunnel. And that was really cool because when I was looking it up, I realized that a chick that I used to watch ages ago,
Mm-hmm.
Amy's Crypt, she's
Oh,
an
she's
Aussie
awesome.
paranormal investigator. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch it ages ago, and I realized she did a video there, and I was like, no way, that is so cool. But yeah, so that's my first real location that has been called haunted and had history, because I really like to be able to add the history at the start of the video. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that adds so much more, to it. But it is cool going to these other places, not knowing anything, if you're going to pick up anything either. But that was
Yeah.
my first real location, sort of.
Talk to me
Yeah.
about that first location. Um, tell me about your feelings. Like what you seen, what you felt. Um,
My first one, or the tunnel.
I seen that one. Can you talk about the tunnel a little bit?
Tunnel.
That was
Okay.
interesting.
So I was really blessed to end up making friends with a guy just two houses down. So towards the end of before I moved to Queensland, so I didn't have a car up there, so I couldn't really go many places. And so I made friends with him, and it was really nice because I didn't have too much company up there. And he told me about the tunnel, and he drove me there. So that was a really big help. And he told me about this tunnel we could go to, and I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. I've always wanted to be able to do an investigation in a tunnel. Like, that would look awesome. So we went there during the day, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, it's just, you wouldn't even know it was there. And you go up there and the graffiti and everything, and then there was bats there, and I was like, oh, bats. I've seen in, like, I think it's the Overnight channel or something, or a few different channels. Every time there's bats, there's always been like lots of paranormal activity. So I was like, oh, this is a good start. And so that was really cool to go to at the start and during the day. But when we went back at night, just walking up to it was just like, everything looks more scary at night. It was just like a black hole. I was like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? So it was really cool. But we definitely heard, it's so annoying when you can't pick it up on the camera, like the sounds. I feel like that happens a lot in a lot of videos. Like, they say there's footsteps and stuff and you can vaguely hear them. But it sounded so clear. There was footsteps and they started coming like closer towards us. That was just insane.
How about voices?
I didn't hear any voices, but that is the first video where I picked up massive amounts of EVPs. Not when I was doing like a spirit box on my phone, just in the background of my filming. That was insane, the amount of EVPs I picked up. Yeah.
Wow. No, you go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
That's all right. I can't remember where my train of thought was going there.
I was just gonna say, like, I mean, is that your most intense location you've been to?
See, okay, let's get personal here. I've been through a lot of traumas in my life, so I find myself pretty detached from a lot of things. So I think that's why I'm able to sort of watch these things without getting too spooked. So none of these experiences have ever been really too intense for me. But the most intense where I felt there was a bad energy present was when I was doing the investigation, which was on the other side of where the fortress was. And I did a day one and a night one. And the night one, that's the first time I tried to help a spirit pass on. And that little boy that kept saying he was lost or whatever, and I was saying in that video, like, I feel like there's this negative presence that was keeping him here. I could feel him, this negative energy there, especially when I was trying to help this boy. And that's why in the end, after I helped the boy, I left. I didn't want to I could feel the energy go after I'd finally let the boy, pass over or see the light. But he was lingering for a little bit and then he left, like he kind of had no purpose being there. But I could feel he was annoyed, and I could feel that dark presence. And I was, I don't know if I got it on camera, but I said things to it. So it was like, you're not allowed to follow me. You have no power over me, or, all of that stuff that you say, telling it who's boss, really. That was my first real experience with something really, like I could just feel a negative presence for sure. So yeah.
How does that feel? How does a negative spirit feel like?
Oh, you can just feel like you almost feel like you're in danger, or it's that you just know there's a negative when you're opening up to doing these things, and you can sense energies around you and stuff. Like, I don't always sense energies, but that one I did, and it was just like just negative. You just know, like, it just doesn't make you feel safe. You can feel that it has a bad intentions, and it's just heavy and
Yeah. Well, with that, like, man, are you worried? Like I know you're saying so you know how to like pass on spirits to the other side. How do you actually do that? Like,
I don't know, but I've experimented and I feel like it's worked both times. So who knows if it really worked or not? But I just what I do is I call on my angels, my spirit guides, ancestors, family, ones that have passed on, especially because I'd just been talking to two people that I know that have passed away, including my brother. I could sense they were around. So I just asked them to I just imagined them walking this little boy. And I think it was two beings. I felt like there was two beings of light there for some reason. And I just imagined them, I called on them to take him to the light and help him, really. And I could just imagine them walk past me and then disappear, and he was around these people, and I felt like they took him to where he needed to go. Because I think, especially when they're young, I think they, I could be wrong, it's all hypothetical, but I think they don't really understand what's going on, especially if there's that negative presence holding them down, kind of toying with them. Like, they don't know how to ask for the light. They don't have, they might not have the power to or whatever. So that's why I was like, I'm just going to try it. I'm going to call my angels and see if they can guide him. And I think they did. So that was a really interesting, an emotional experience. Same with the little girl, or the girl that was on that bridge thing I was sitting on.
Yeah.
Another video.
Oh yeah, I like that one. That was awesome. It must have been pretty sad for, like at least, young age for them to stay behind and stuff like that, and no one else hears them or tries to talk to them because they can't communicate as best as they can.
Yeah.
But what does that intense feeling feel like when it's crossed over?
Oh, it's almost like, it's not so intense. It's more light. Like, you ask them and then you just feel like they're gone. The presence is gone. And you go, well, they're not here anymore. So I hope that they have guided them,
Yeah.
Especially when I did the girl, like I was starting to be a bit hesitant, like questioning myself, because it was the second time I'd done it, and I was like, I don't even know if this works, and I was kind of like asking for signs from my angels to if I should keep trying to do this, and if it worked, and like the birds were going off, even though that could just be coincidence, and then my temperature, like on this thing, was 222, and that's an angel number, so I was like, I'm going to get a sign, that's going to be it. And I think there was a few wind gusts as well. And I was like, what else can I ask, really? For a sign, I just take it as it is. And yeah.
Can you show us some equipment maybe that you use in investigation? Thank you.
So
let me put this up.
I've got the classic, like, K2 EMF readers. This is like the classic one. You just turn it on, and then it probably, I thought my computer would make it go off. But anyways, and that lights up when there's, I think it's electromagnetic frequencies, or a spirit or whatever. And this is the same thing, really. It tells you the temperature as well. And this has only gone up once when I was, I think, doing the Fortress investigation. But I've never seen that one go up, but it should beep as well if the temperature or something changes drastically. But I really like being able to see the temperature on it, because you can see how that fluctuates when how if there's a spirit around, it usually gets colder, or if it's negative, it usually gets pretty warm. But it's interesting when you can see the change of temperature, especially if the environmental factors haven't really changed that much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always cool to have that extra kind of evidence to support it or whatever. This is one of my new devices, like a REM pod. So I got this from Spirit Tech. I've got another thing from Spirit Tech, but I wasn't quite sure how to use that yet. And the battery ran out, even though I haven't used it. But this hasn't gone off yet, and I'm just waiting for the moment it does, because that'll be insane. But yeah, and I also have got these new guys. So I'm waiting for these to go off too. The classic hat balls, they light up when it's like movement. It's pretty cool. Then I've got this ball I found. It's not paranormal equipment, but I keep it with me. And actually, my investigation yesterday that I filmed with my brother and my sister, I actually ended up getting this out. So it's cool to have this on you, especially if there's child spirit, that it's like it's good to have trigger objects, or to offer something because they want to play with something. And then I've got my dowsing rods that are really sharp, so I got to be careful when I don't poke myself with them. But yeah.
Now with those, like I know they're kind of difficult because just especially if your hands are kind of like kind of like sort of like clammy, and you
Yeah.
try to hold them. Can you
Yeah.
show us how they work?
So this one, my old ones, it used to just be like just a straight metal rod, and I realized that's not really how it works. This one actually detaches, so I don't poke myself in the face. You unscrew that, and that can come out. And this is like on a rotating thing. So this is really, I really like these because you just hold this and you have no, like you can point it down, or like the way you obviously hold it is going to move the rods. But if you hold them as still as you can, this, and I don't put my thumb on this little bit here because there's a slight little bit that, oh, that's not even connected. So I've been making that up my whole, anyways. But say this bit twists by itself. So if you hold this, this thing inside is completely free to move, and you're not moving it.
Yeah.
So that's why I really like these ones, because I feel like, and they work, like they spin really well. So I feel like I just love dowsing rods. I feel like they're the easiest way for spirits to communicate most of the time. And those ones, it's just crazy when they do cross and like open, when you just hold it as still as you can and you're not moving. It's insane.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like I know you feel some sort of like vibration when it does. Like
Oh, I have. Yeah, I have, especially just in like one hand. Like I felt it a few times, and it's weird because I can feel it, and it feels like this is like wobbling a little bit. I don't know if I can explain it, but you're holding it still, and this feels like, it feels like it jolts. Oh, this bit, really? And that's when you're like, oh my god, what is that? Because you're not touching it. Or you can get like tingles in your hand sometimes. Sometimes you get like a little like pain in them, and I'm like, ooh, what is that?
Exactly. Well, I know with the rods and everything. Do you get any emotion when the spirit is actually moving them? Like you contact
I get
your loved one.
excited when a spirit moves them. I get emotional when it's a spirit that's stuck or young, and just when the story of the spirit is a bit sad, that's when I get emotional, like sad wise. But otherwise it's usually pretty exciting. Just when it moves, you're like, wow.
That's awesome. I'll take you of this now. Now uh, some more questions. Have you ever used a Ouija board?
Yeah. So I think my first paranormal experience would have been with a Ouija board when I was probably way too young to use them. And I started crying. But I was thinking about this actually earlier. I completely forgot. I've got a pretty bad memory. But when we were in primary school, when we first did it. And then Caitlin, my twin, and I would make Ouija boards when we were at school. And try to communicate with things, but usually nothing ever came through. Like we tried it once or twice, but I completely forgot about that. But I've used them several times, and it's really interesting because it's unexplainable. We use like a shot glass, and it's just when it moves, and especially if it's someone that tells you information that no one else knows, it's just, I think that's the one thing. Yeah, that would have been the first experience that made me believe in the paranormal, because there was no explanation to it. And I was like, what in the world? But talking about Ouija boards, I don't use them too much since my brother has passed away, or at the start since my brother passed away, and I still don't. But I did do one a couple of nights ago with my sister and my brother that passed away, his sister. So we're like sisters, but not sisters. So anyways, we did a Ouija board together, and that was a really interesting experience. Nothing negative came through, which was nice. I told everyone to like protect themselves. We did that beforehand, and we only called on high vibrational and good energy and spirits with good intention. And we first got one that went to Q&A, and usually if it starts going from like both sides to the letters, it's negative. So we were a bit like, okay, can you, like, we said goodbye twice, and that came back again, and I was like, question and answer, and then my sister was like, do you want us to ask yes or no questions? And it went to yes. So turns out this spirit couldn't actually it could understand us, but it couldn't spell out English.
Yeah.
And Caitlin lives, so I live in the high country, and there's a lot of history here for mining of gold and stuff. So, and my sister's partner, he is right into that stuff. So we said, like, do you know anyone here? Said no, but like, well, like, and Lockie, my sister's boyfriend, was just sitting kind of watching, not taking part in it. And we're like, well, like, I can't remember what we asked, but like maybe like, you know, who drew you here or why you here? And it spelled out Lockie. And we were like, oh, and Lockie's like, I'm not even part of this. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then we were asked, like, well, if you couldn't speak English, were you Chinese? And we instantly assumed that he would have been a prospector or whatever, because that's a lot of what happened with there was Chinese people coming up here, I'm pretty sure, that did that. And we asked him to go towards if there's any, like, anything around them that they're drawn to. And he went, like, to the end of the board and pointed straight to, on the grass was like equipment to do gold panning and stuff. And we're like, wow. So that was really interesting. And we talked to him for a little bit, and then he left. And then my brother came through just quickly. He never really stays long. And then my sister's done a guided meditation to meet her guardian angels, and she got these two names. It was like Auralis and Luca or something, which means like golden and light. And so after she did that, she looked up those names, and it was golden and like golden light or something. And she's like, wow, like that's so crazy, because it was in some other language or something. And she's like, that's insane. Like, there must be my guardian angels. And anyways, it started spelling out Aurora. I can't say the name, sorry. But, and Caitlin's like, are you my guardian angel? Are you here? And went, yes. And she's like, I do, you're here. So we're talking to them for a bit. And then I was like, sorry, if I butt in, but can I ask if I have any guardian angels? And said yes. And apparently I've got 3. I don't know what the names are, but I spoke to one of them, and that was a really cool experience. And yeah, and then we kind of just left it at that and went inside and we watched Chucky, because
Chucky, wow.
Right
after that experience.
We asked my brother what we should watch, and he spelled out Chucky. And because we used to go into his room when we was younger, and he'd be watching Chucky, and we'd be like, oh my god, why are you watching that? And he made my Holly, his other sister, watch it with him. So it was pretty funny he said that. So we were like, we have to watch it now. So that was funny. It was good.
Going back, we'll see. How do you start with the Ouija board? How do you start it? How do you end it?
The Ouija board?
Yeah.
Well, this time, usually we go, like, you'll put your fingers on the shot glass and you go around in a circle 3 times. But after watching a few videos lately, I feel like 3 or numbers of 6. I just watched a video. Men's something or other. I really like their videos, and there's this girl in it. She's so cute. They're just a cute couple, and they did a Ouija board, and she said something about the candles. You're not supposed to have a number that could equal 6 or whatever. So I was like, so this time when we did it, I was like, let's imagine, I kind of just followed what she did. Like, imagine a bubble of protection around you. We all held hands and did that, called in our angels to watch over us, did all the protective measures at the start. And then this time I made us do, because we usually always do 3. We put our fingers on the glass, and it made us do 5. And I think that really worked, and we didn't get any negative coming through. And usually every time we do a Ouija board, there's something negative that comes through. So that's all you do. And then you just introduce yourself, say like, hi, I'm this person. Everyone says hi. And then you say, We're here to communicate with anyone that's of good nature, good intention, that wants to communicate with us. If you're here, can you please move the glass to yes? That's how we really start a Ouija board kind of session. Eli's got missing again. Oh,
I thought she had a question.
He does that. No, I muted, bro. I muted. You're
mysterious.
Okay, well, and I know they always say the planchette, you can see spirits at, you know, in that little circle thing, just like in the movies, you know. What do you think about that?
I want to try that. Sounds terrifying.
Okay, I know you use a pendulum.
I don't want to ever try that because you'd be like this looking, you'd freak yourself out and never sleep again.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't. I'd be like, whoa, you know.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
For sure.
How about the pendulum? I know you did that on your last video. Can you show it if you have it with you?
I don't have it with me. It's usually in my little paranormal bag, but actually I usually have everything set up on my little bedside table at the moment with my dolls. I've got these new cushions that you might have seen in my last video. It's all set up, right? All ghosty vibes. I'm loving it. Yeah. But it's on the table there with my dolls and my crystals and stuff. But luckily I did an investigation yesterday. So, and I said to my sister's last night, so luckily I have this equipment with me, but I don't have the pendulum with me. It was the only one I could find in like the health food shop in our town, which is a small kind of rural country town. So I would love to get like what you have, Jax, a copper one or just a quartz one, but it's just, you could buy them on anywhere really.
I don't know where I got mine. It was in my mom's jewelry box. It's obviously it's copper. I mean, I don't let it touch anything. I keep it in a like a velvet bag. But I need to get like the base, like you were talking about, because when it's shaking, I need to get that. So then I want to learn if I could. I want to learn how to use it. I've never used it, but because I mean, I don't do it. I have to learn how to use it. So I need to get one of those stands.
Well, if you get a stand, you can get the mats that have like yes or no or whatever on it, and it's really, if you have that, all you got to do is sit and ask and see if anything really comes through. You know,
I mean, they're basically just like the dowsing rods. I mean, I don't need to buy them to buy that.
Yeah.
I think that's better for me being on stand than holding those rods because you'd get really cramped up if you did. I think.
Yeah.
I think so. So what did he ask you? Like, what are we on now? What did he ask you? He disappeared. So what was the last question?
Something the pendulum.
Oh, the pendulum. That's right. So I watched your dolls video. That was pretty cool. It's like almost like speaking to you, and it's weird. It's weird. People say, "Oh, dolls don't do this," but there could be an attachment to one of those dolls.
And I'm so stoked that all of them have attachments, and they're all such interesting little like personalities, especially Glennis. I just feel grandmother vibes, and with Mark. My husband, when I was doing it, like I just feel like they're around. Like when I'm doing things, like at the moment talking about it, I feel like they're here. Like I feel like they're
they could follow you. They don't.
They like me. They like doing whatever they're doing. But I feel like they're around the most. I actually feel like they're with me right now as I speak. I think maybe that's why I like them so much. Yeah,
that is cool.
It's a very comforting feeling you get from them. They're just the classic like grandfather, grandmother vibes that are just nurturing and. Grandfathers, just the bit funny, goofy.
You feel safe with them. It's
really nice.
That's like even when your grandparents, my grandparents are gone. I mean, they've been gone a very long time, but grandparents make you feel something your parents never could. And me being a grandma, I didn't understand until now. I mean, now that I'm a nana, it's like, if my grandsons fall, I'm like, oh, my daughter's like, you didn't do that for me. I said, shut up. But that's cool. It's cool. You have good vibes from them. There's nothing bad attached to them. I don't know what I would do if I had a doll with a bad attachment.
I really didn't think that through if that was the case. I was just hoping not.
Super lucky. Super lucky.
I would take it back to the op shop.
Yeah, I brought the wrong doll.
Out, but like, I don't know if I would want to do that. I don't know
Just use the doll. I don't want my money back. Just here's take the doll. I don't know. They say attachment can be to anything. You can be attached to a phone. You can get attached to a book. Spirits get attached to whatever they want to get attached to, I guess. I
so much, like, and that transmits information, and I believe like that's my whole belief system is on energy and all of that stuff, you know, like they could be passed on living another life, but their energy is still here. They're still like, we're just not, our brains just can't comprehend what the possibility could be of energy and how far it could go. And
absolutely,
energy, I believe, can be attached to things for sure.
Absolutely.
And they can, but sometimes like they can affect the house as well.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I know they can leave. I heard they can leave the object and go to their own place, but they come back because that's their safest place.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, sounds right. I think it's like I think for some, you know, energies or spirits, it could just be like a channel, like back to, they might have an attachment to an item that pulls them back, you know, like if I've got this doll with me and I call on the spirits, like that's a channel for them to come back from wherever they are.
Exactly.
You know, or there could be the case where some are solely attached to it, and that's probably more of a distraught kind of a spirit that can't pass on.
Exactly.
That's what I imagine, anyways.
Have you ever been attached? I mean, have you ever had an attachment?
Not that I know of.
That would have been really scary.
Nothing negative, you know, but not that I know of.
Cool. Not cool, but yeah, I'm glad. Now, have you ever considered like doing an investigation out in the forest?
Oh, that would be so spooky, but that makes me think my sister and her partner, they're into the Yowies or Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Yowies over here, I think. And they go on Yowie walks, and I've been on a couple Yowie walks with them, and it's just terrifying walking in the dark. But I would love to film one of them. And nothing ever happens when I'm there, but they've had some really weird occurrences, which I could probably do another video talking to them about as well, or in the prefix of our Yowie Walk video. So that reminds me, I've got to do that. That'll be interesting.
Well, you think about it, like
in the woods, so many sounds, so many shadows. Like, no, thank you.
I couldn't do that. I mean, you're out there all day in the heat, and you're like waiting for something to happen. You're like, the only thing you're gonna get is sweat and a headache for being out there so much.
Jason wants to go camping. I said, well, you get the RV and we'll do all the camping you want. He goes, no, in a tent. I'm like, no bugs. No bugs. No bugs. No. RV, glamping. That's what we'll do. We'll all sleep in the tent. Fine. Give me the RV. You want to sleep in the tent? I'll sleep in the RV. I'm good.
You can camp with an RV. Same experience.
Yes, you can. People do it all the time. Right. I don't want to sleep on a rock all night. What are you talking about?
But I'm staying in the camper.
Hey, campers have skylights, okay? You can sleep under the stars in the camper. They have skylights.
Well,
I've got it all figured out, okay? I got it all figured out. He just argues with me.
That's not hearing me. I can't figure that out why you want to be in a tent then.
Right. Do you think Bigfoot could be what do you call it? I want to say aliens, but I'm not. I mean spirits. I don't know why it made me think that.
Aliens, yeah.
I was watching something, maybe it was one of your videos, someone was talking about this, and I was so intrigued, but I've never thought of it like that. And that's really interesting. Who knows? Like, who knows? That's it. You can't cross things out, you know. That's an interesting thought.
it makes you think. I mean, because
Oh
like
yeah.
you have all these other creatures out there and everything else, and I'm just like, huh, they must have lived long time ago. I don't think they were made up like in 2000 or something. Look at that big, you know what I
No.
mean? It makes you think, though.
Yeah.
Um,
If anything, like what they would come from, I would assume was like, oh, what's that word when things grow and evolve? Evolution. Sorry. Like, I feel like it would have just been some process that went a bit different from human, from like monkeys and stuff to more of a beastie creature with, who
yeah,
like have the intellect. They're pretty, if they're no one's been able to really spot them, so they must be pretty intelligent in that aspect.
exactly. I don't know much about Bigfoot, so I mean, what is? Let's see. Have you ever? Do you think? Do you think ghosts can travel to many places, like across the world or whatever?
For sure, I don't think they have any boundaries. If they can travel from the spirit world, I think they can travel. I think the boundaries they only have is really like, I wouldn't know, but maybe how far their energy could go or how strong they were. But I think there's uh, I think us humans have a lot more like, uh, what's the word? We're not as free to do those things where they have no like like that have got no flesh and bones. They have none of this. They're just energy. So if spirits can follow people from places, or in investigations, I've seen spirits come through the spirit box for people from another investigation. I feel like who knows? We don't know, but I think there's a lot less limitations on those kind of things. But
Okay.
who
Um,
knows?
how can you protect yourself from evil spirits?
Well, definitely make sure you're grounded and make sure you are doing all the precautions, as in imagining like a white protective shield or light, or however you do that, calling on your angels or whoever you look up to protect you. Um, and I feel like fear factor and those and ill intentions, like stirring spirits up, people that do that, they're not going to get anything good if they're disrespectful. But also, some spirits, bad negative entities may feed off fear and energy. So it's just to protect yourself, really, is to do those precautions and remove yourself from situations that you don't feel safe in, or you don't feel, strong enough to not give energy to and whatnot. And, go home, sage yourself, maybe call on your spirit guides again, meditate, do whatever to clean your energy. But like, there's only so many measures you can take.
Well, let me ask you a question. Like, I mean, let's say you had, confronted the evil spirit. Like, do you have any like crystals with you? Do you have any like holy water you can use? I mean, or is there
Well,
anything? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I've got crystals at home. I've
Mhm.
been meaning to buy a few necklaces, but I've just made a pendant out of crystals I bought ages ago that I forgot I had. I realized I had when I moved back down. And so, like tourmaline, I've got a pendant I'm going to put on a chain so I can wear that. That's protective. And I've got these rings I've just made out of other crystals, like smoky quartz and quartz. So those kind of crystals that can protect you and ground you for sure. But also like to add in crystals that can also open up your third eye and all of that as well to help communicate. So need
Nice.
that balance.
Do you think that sage helps, cleanse the air in your place?
Um, I think there's certain types of sage, but I think just the general white sage cleanses the area, but also um, I think it I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it completely cleanses the area. So if you have any good energy there, it's going to get rid of that too. There is certain types of sage, I think, that just gets rid of the negative. I'm not sure, but it's always good to just cleanse, or just even, I think more of it is a mind thing. So if you're setting your intention, if you're going to do something, whether it's sage or not, or you walk around with a crystal, or you just walk around your house or wherever you feel you want to cleanse. And I think that the intention matters, and just saying that out loud, say, I clean this area, I cleanse this area, nothing bad is allowed here, you know. I think it's more the intention, but definitely there's all those, you know, sage and herbs and crystals and all those metaphysical kind of things that help. So, you know, I could be wrong, but that's what I believe.
Okay, that's fair enough. So Josh, going on, I hear they got like all different kinds of sages. Have you ever looked that up or something? Like, I never did, so I'm just wondering if you have.
It was a while ago, so I can't really remember, but I think it's really just sages that are different types of sages, or sages with different other herbs in them as well. You know, in the bundles, I think. I don't know. I can't really help you there.
No, you get. I was just asking. What do you know? So I know. Have you ever been around like different skeptics or anything, like saying that, hey, this fake or whatever? Like,
well, my nan has been a big skeptic lately, and I'm actually going to try and get an interview of her experiences with paranormal stuff, but I think she's a bit worried that she keeps saying, don't get too caught up in it. I think she's a bit worried that I'm going to get all caught up in it and go a bit crazy or something. But I'm like, man, I wouldn't be doing this if I was getting caught up in it. Like, I'd be too scared, or like, I'm just interested in it. And I think it's a fun thing. I think it's a really cool community. It's rewarding for me. When people like and subscribe your videos, people comment. Like, Twitter's just, I absolutely love Twitter. It's where I've got so many of my followers, and people like post on there, and it's a community. Like, all you guys commenting in the comments, feel like you've got a family. You feel it's just a really nice vibe. So all of that, like, I just love it. So my nan doesn't need to stress, but she has been, you know, a bit of a disbeliever lately, and I'm just like, you do you, nan, let me do me. I know you was worried, but that's really all. You know, like my stepdad, and I tell him some stories, and he's just like, oh yeah, he listens, but I don't expect him to believe anything. My mum mostly doesn't want to know because it freaks her out so much, but other than that, you know, like my twin sister, she believes in it, so we can chat about it all the time, and there's a whole community that believes in the paranormal and just, you know, unexplainable things, really.
Yeah. Well, it takes it takes someone to see and experience things so they can believe in the paranormal as well.
I always say, do a Ouija board. That'll make you really think about it. But don't. Yeah. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. But if you do one, you will definitely change your mind, I think. But I think it takes people being open-minded as well. And also people in different stages in their life, different, you know, traumas or experiences. That's the way they perceive the world. Depends if they're open to questioning things, you know, and being more open-minded, really.
Exactly. What do you think about orbs and mists? Have you ever had any of them?
Well, on my video in the bungalow with Caitlin, when I used my night vision camera for the first time, there was so many orbs in there, and like, it hasn't been used. It could be dust, apart from just the way the orbs were flying, and especially towards the end when I was saying goodbye, when Caitlin, my sister, was like, it's negative, because I was too busy kind of worrying about her and, you know, making her feel comfortable. It was the first time I did like a investigation where I didn't really open up to the energies. So she was the one that was like, this is negative. And I was like, okay. And as soon as when I was standing there saying goodbye, the orbs were flying so much faster, and like it could be a coincidence or whatever, but we weren't moving like around so much. There wasn't many objects in that bungalow. It hasn't been unused for very long. So like the dust is, it could always be dust. It could be debunked as that, but it's just odd the way it came out. And, I've got a little short video with with this. I was sitting in my bedroom after the lights were flickering. And when I was younger, lights used to flicker at one stage, and I used to stop and I'd get a name come through and I'd be like, that's the way for them to communicate. And I don't know, so I put this out because I was like, I finally got a little device. It was my first device I got. And I didn't get anything on this, but in that video, an orb flew in front of me. And,
Oh, wow.
it can always be dust, it could always be bugs, but sometimes it's just, it's like it could be an orb. It could be something there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now with orbs, they always say like they can have faces in them, such and such. Have you ever caught one like that?
No, I really like zoomed up into the orbs, their faces, to be honest. I didn't even think of that. That would be spooky. Oh, that just reminded me of my second investigation. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but right at the end, I say goodbye, and then I add in this thing, which I wish I added in before I said goodbye, but I noticed it right at the end. And I went through this whole video in slow motion and put the exposure up, and it was just grainy. I kept feeling like I was seeing faces, and I realized it was just a grain. So I took it all down, and then I had one last bit of the video where I was going towards my car. And I was like, you know what? I'm just at the end now. I'm just going to have a look, because imagine if there was something in the car window reflection. And there is a face in there. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly clear face. And I was like, that's me. And I'm like, that's not me. So I completely forgot about that. That is pretty spooky when I found that.
Wow.
I remember I was scared. That was the first time when I've been editing. I've actually spooked myself out that night after I edited. I was like really like spooked out by it. But yeah, as in faces and orbs, I have not seen any so far.
Yeah, true. If you thought about mirrors, they always say mirrors is a portal to the other side. What do you think about that?
Well, I believe that, especially when there's two facing each other. And I can tell you, my sister's house has lots of, like, not so much when I'm here. Last night, I felt like as soon as I turned the salt lamp off in the spare room, I heard footsteps, and I was like, is the dog in my room? And I was like, it's not. So I turned the light on, and I was trying to sleep with the light on, didn't get much sleep, but that's the first time I've really heard too much. And then another time when I felt like this negative presence near me. But Caitlin and her boyfriend have seen and heard weird things so many times. And I told her, I think there's a portal in your house, and I think it's one of your mirrors. And there's a particular mirror on her wall that I just swear to God is a portal. And I said it to her. And it's also opposite. So their house, they're living at the back of a general store. And that door goes to kind of the back of the general store. So there's a door right next to the kitchen, and it's opposite. And I said to Caitlin, I know it's not a mirror on a mirror, but I feel like this mirror has got something really weird about it. And because it's facing opposite to a door, I feel like it's inviting things in. But I definitely feel weird things about that mirror. So I definitely believe mirrors can be portals for sure.
Awesome. I know what are some types. What are some type of I know there's haunted places in Australia, but which ones do you want to actually go visit next time?
There's a few, like Jayward Asylum. There's a Beechworth Asylum, I think. Those places would be really cool. But there's a few places up here, and just in Jamison general area, I want to just do investigations that aren't like haunted, listed, but there's so much history. That's why I was so excited to move back down to Victoria, because up in the high country and just in Victoria in general, there's so much more history than up in Queensland. It's pretty new up there. So I'm keen to some more mining ruins, and there's this abandoned house that we found once, and I'm just hoping to God it's still there, because those books, it was crazy. It could have been not there anymore, but it was a fair few years ago when we found it, but that would be insane to investigate. But yeah. Just anywhere in general. I'm happy to go anywhere that looks spooky.
Wow, that's creepy. Have you ever seen like actual apparitions, like face to face?
No, when I've done investigations, I felt like I've seen a little bit of a shadow, but I haven't. My sister has seen a full body apparition where she thought it was a person, and this was at her partner's parents' house, and it happened to be, I think, maybe her partner's grandfather or something, because he was standing there and she was like, "Oh, I didn't realize there's someone else here," like, and then he just walked and disappeared, and she was like, "Oh, was it a person?" And she said that didn't freak her out too much. Like, it scared her, but it was, when people say you didn't feel like it was harmful or you feel kind of calm, that was what she felt. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that is crazy. I don't know what I would do if I, seen an actual apparition.
There's so many times I've been like, I'm ready, angels. I'm ready, universe. I'm ready. Show me, like, let me open my third eye enough to see people. Like, I won't be scared. I'm like, I'm ready. And then a bit later, I'm like, in the day, I'm like, if I did see a person, I probably would pee my pants. No thanks. I'm like, I take that back. I don't think I'm ready. Right. Especially, like, imagine if you wake up in the middle of the night, there's something staying at the end of your bed. That's the image that always freaks me out.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow, that was creepy. I mean, so I know you had some gifts. Can you explain them? Like, kind of like sensing stuff and
some what? Oh, gifts.
Gifts. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, I guess, like, I started doing tarot cards when I was younger, and my nan showed me those actually, and I think that's what starts you to open up to your intuition. And I think it's really important anyone learns to listen to their intuition. That gut feeling, that's what can help lead them out of dangerous situations or lead them to, where they want to be. So that's really important. But I think probably when the light started flickering so long ago, it only happened for a short period because I stopped kind of tuning in on it. But that's when I started listening. I'd be like, okay, because I looked it up what it meant, and it said the spirit could be contacting with you, like, try and see if you can get anything. So I tried to see if I could get a name, and then I'm like, okay. And that's when I started, like, kind of imagining if there was like someone there, or if I could feel a presence. And it's all in your head, so you feel like you could be going crazy, you could be making it up, but you just got to start to trust your gut more. And I think at this point I'm like, well, I could be wrong, but I could be right. And you kind of just sometimes you go like, I don't know, it's you just start to trust yourself more. And it's more, for me, like, I can't hear things, it's not clear audience, or like I can't see physical things or hear things. It's all just like sort of imaginary. Like, I can imagine someone appearing, or like earlier when I said I feel like Mark was here, I feel like there's a little girl that just came here right now. I'm opening up to it, and that's when that happens. And I always, like, especially if I'm sitting down beside the bed, I'll see someone come up, which is really weird because I can feel that right now. But it's just like it's in your head. It's just like a feeling. It sort of becomes a knowing, like, because you trust yourself. So I don't know what that's called. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a medium. I can't channel things. I have tried to channel. I did tarot reading for someone for free on Facebook. They made a post, and I was like, I'll do one for free. And I'm like, I always get names, and they're always wrong. But there's this name. Is this anyone to you? And it's the first time the name actually was accurate. And she's like, yeah, this is my partner's best friend. He passed away. And so I was like connecting for someone else for the first time. And that's my first experience, and it's been positive, but I'm too concerned that I won't be accurate, or I'll let someone down to kind of pursue it.
Yeah.
I would like to practice it more, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just, I don't really know. Val says never guess yourself. She's a medium as well, so.
What was that?
She's a medium as well. She says never guess yourself. Thanks. I mean, honestly, and you know what? It's different for other people. A lot of people are just like, well, you must be the same. You must be the same way if you're a medium or you're a psychic or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, everybody can see, sense differently, see differently, see spirits in different ways. You know, talk to them in different ways. I mean, a lot of people are like that. She says, you get a name spout it, but no matter what it sounds like.
Love that.
I mean, and she says all is different. But like I was saying, like I mean, I honestly think that some people are born with gifts to comfort each other when they're down and about, like if they lose a loved one, you know. But it's kind of hard. It's like I was telling Val one time, and I was like, it's kind of hard for you to go in front of a grocery store. And, hey, I know, but your husband is sending me a message or something. You can't do that. They're gonna look at you like you're crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and especially if it's emotional for that person, you don't want to trigger any emotions, you know, like it's a sensitive topic.
oh yeah,
It's like, hey, like this person that meant a lot to you has passed over, has given me a message. They'll be like, especially that I believe in it, they'll be like, wow, like rude,
exactly.
or about open their eyes to it, but it's all very emotional and, you know,
Have you
I feel like
ever?
that kind of career, if you're a psychic or you do readings, you either tell people, you know, people either don't like you because they don't believe you, or if they don't like you, it's because they don't really like what they've been told or what messages are
Yeah,
for them. And that's what's gonna,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever come across a spirit that's been trapped or emotional?
Uh, well, I feel like those two children that I tried to help, that they were trapped.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did an investigation yesterday, and there were so many different things coming through in the ghost tube. My sister was holding it because my phone was going flat, and couldn't really gather the whole conversation. But there was different names, and it was different energies, and it was just interesting. And then someone was like, "Help me," and then someone was like, "Go away," and it's just confusing. And it just makes you think: was that person saying, "Help me"? Were they trapped? You know, you don't know. But yeah.
That's cool. I think having that gift too, it messes with your personal life too. Like you're trying to have fun with your friends or whatever, and they come at you as just like no matter how they come at you stronger than ever if you're not listening to them as well.
Yeah, well, I watched these two chicks I've been watching for ages, and they've finally got a channel together, and it's gone off, Mackie and Amanda. And Amanda's amazing, medium, or she can see people, and she's been able to make a YouTube out of it with her friend, and you can see her friend's got. I think she can hear things because her abilities keep showing up. She keeps hearing things that you can't, and then they're on the camera. So it's really cool to watch them. But you see how, like, Amanda, you know, where she goes everywhere, she talks about it in some of her videos. Like, she sees them all the time. You can't just switch it off. It's
Yeah,
like a gift and a curse at the same time, you know. So yeah.
true. Um, Now, I mean, like I know, um, going. Do you do any research on the places you visit?
It's my brother.
Yes.
Well, I have done research on the places that have history. So, like, my first videos, they were kind of just at random places. I couldn't find any history on them, especially in Queensland. It doesn't have much history. But as soon as I had like the tunnel opportunity, I was like, "There's history here," so I definitely researched history for that. I've been looking up history of Jamison. Whoops. And yeah, so if there's history, I love to look it up, because I feel like that adds so much more to the video. And I've
always been, because I've got narcolepsy, so I get tired easy. I always fell asleep in history class. It was a class I hated. Like, I just didn't choose that to pursue that. But now I'm trying to, like, and I have a bad memory, but when I'm looking up this history, it's been making me so much more curious and more interested in history, because there's so many stories and things in the past that, you know, are actually written down, or, you know, you don't know too much about, or, you know, interesting, that I've never really paid attention to before.
Exactly. It's also good to do history on a location too, because let's say you go on a property that's run down, like, you know, and you got your equipment ready and everything, and whenever you go in there, they could be like floorboards messed up, or the walls coming down, or there could be rodents everywhere, and you think it's paranormal, but it's not. And not everything's paranormal, but they could be a homeless person, they could be security there, security cameras. I mean, a lot of people.
So I'd love to, Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Go ahead.
I'd love to, like, you know, those places, abandoned places. That's awesome. That'd be so cool. But especially being a woman, and I'm pretty small, haven't grown since year 8. You got to take those things into precaution, especially like homeless people, or you just, you know, real people are more danger than the spirits in most cases. So in the future, hopefully, if I have the opportunity to go these places, which I'm hoping so, because I hope my channel goes there, and I really want this to be on my lifestyle, and hopefully I can find some people that can come with me, so it's a lot safer. But you definitely have to look into those things for sure.
Yeah, man. You know, always, because it's always good to tell someone where you're at as well. You know, and having that communication. You know, and especially if you're out and about and you're like, hey, mom or whatever, brother, I'm gonna go out there and investigate this and stuff like that, and or have someone with you. Especially, you never know who's around the corner.
Even even when I was doing, like, I think my second investigation, I had to use a car, and it wasn't even that late, but it was dark out, and I was like, okay, I'm borrowing the car for this time, and my stepdad's like, oh, you know, like, and I'm 22, I'm like, I'm an adult, but it is dangerous, and they're like, oh, okay, you know, and I tell them where I am and stuff, and, you know, you're still cautious even if you're in a gated community, which I was in, you're still cautious, you know, you're at night, you don't, you know, anything can happen, so you definitely have to take safety precautions in those measures as well.
Exactly.
Very important.
Have you I know we're talking about haunted objects. Have you ever owned one?
Well, the dolls. Yeah. I've got 3 dolls. I had another doll, and she was haunted, but I think she left the vessel. Don't think she really wanted to be around me. I wasn't really doing much for her. But I think she was older as well. I just think I don't know why she was attached to that doll, but in one of my investigations, I said, do I have to get rid of my doll? And I did. And then I went to the op shop with my sister. I was like, I could go with some more haunted dolls, and I used a reality ripple effect on TikTok, which kind of like shows energy on things, and on some dolls it will come up. So it's interesting because it's like there must be energy around them or whatever. And so I picked up a doll, and I picked up another one, and I picked up another one. I was like, okay, I've got to leave now before I pick up any more. So I got 3. And then that's like my most recent investigations, is finding out if they're haunted, and all 3 of them were. And I'm so stoked about that. And I love the personalities that are attached to them, and amazed by what I picked up mentally, like psychically. I wrote down some things, and I just surprised myself. It kind of gave me a bit of more confidence in my abilities as well. Because some of them, like, of the things, well, like, a lot of them were actually accurate. Some of them weren't, and it was just really cool.
Nice, cool. I know. There's one time. I think you were at that. On that bridge. You know, you're contacting a little girl and everything else. When you're doing, I know you're doing the K2 meter. You know, I was just wondering because, you know, there is those kind of like bars. You know, whatever colorblind bars, whatever, and they attract the metal too as well. Like, aren't you worried that the K2 meter is going to mess up the bars that are holding the bridge up, or because that can.
Well, it wasn't really too much of a bridge, but no, because it's energy, like electromagnetic energy, so it doesn't really. I haven't had any experience with that affecting it. It could, I don't know. My phone, my cameras, if I got my camera too close to the EMF reader on a certain part of my camera, that it will go off. I always put my phone in airplane mode now, because that your phone, especially if you get a message and your phone's near it, it will go off, because you can. I've got little radiation like EMF stoppers on my case.
Okay.
I had to take my case off in my last investigation. Damn it! But because after seeing that and putting the EMF reader towards it, you see how much radiation and stuff comes off these devices.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you got to think about the weather too. You know what I mean? The surroundings and stuff like that, and the water too as well. Like it could pick up.
I think as well with dowsing rods, like that was used. I think they were initially used to find water. So that's why I don't like to use them too much if I'm around water, because I don't know if that'll mess them up.
Yeah, maybe. Who never knows? I mean, anything could be possible. You know, whenever you're around certain settings, you know. I mean,
100%.
Oh yeah, like it's just like contacting spirits. You know what I mean? And then let's say that you see a spirit, or you sense a spirit, or you smell certain things at night. You know what I mean? Like flowers or cigarettes or whatever. I'm not saying because you're smoking. I'm just saying, I mean, have you ever smelled certain kind of things that you can't explain?
I haven't, but my investigation yesterday, my brother did pick up a smell, and it could have been a dead animal, but it was in one of the mining kind of caves, and it was coming out of there, and it wasn't there when we went the previous week to kind of check it out. And when I went back to film it, and then my camera battery was flat, so I had to do it on my phone. So, yeah, but I didn't smell it then, and I was like, maybe an animal's dragged another animal down there. We couldn't see anything as far as we went in there, but and that smell, now I think about it, didn't actually stay the whole time, which is creepy, especially because it's a bad smell. It usually means it's a negative, entity or presence.
Exactly. Wow. Yeah, it's true. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about past life experience? Past life, like when you die and come back.
Oh, I'm pretty I like to believe in that stuff, but I really, I don't know. But I would love to do like a past life regression with someone that's professional at doing that. I think that would be so interesting. Some things, I was actually thinking about this the other day, because I have talked to people who have done those, and it explains certain injuries or things like karmic things that have happened in their life because of something that they did in a past life. It's really interesting to look into. But another thing I'd be really curious about, because I've got this kind of birthmark looking mark on my back, and it was never there. It was I probably noticed it probably like 5 years ago or something, and I just wonder, like, if that's from a past life or some kind of, who knows. I'm really interested in all that stuff though, so I don't know much about it. I'd love to believe in that, because I think that would be really cool. I think it'd be cool. I kind of believe I do believe in it. I like to believe in it, and I think, we come back on Earth to live another life, to learn a lesson that we didn't in our past life, or to kind of grow as our soul grow. Like, so people say I'm like an old soul, and that's probably why I've always thought about past lives and stuff, because I feel like you come back to live another life, to learn lessons you either didn't learn in your past life, or to learn a new lesson and So you progress through these lives and you evolve as a soul. But I don't know.
You never know. How
Yeah.
about outer body experiences?
Oh, that's interesting to me. I haven't had any, but I think they're so interesting, and like astral projection and all those things. I think all of those kind of things, like deja vu in some concepts, sometimes it's just your brain. Like I know it's your brain
Mm.
glitch in your brain, but some things when you get deja vu or you see somewhere where you swear you dreamt about all of those different things, just isn't so many more aspects to the paranormal that makes you really think about it. All those things, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, they are. I had one. I had plenty of them when I died. And it's wild. It blows your mind. It makes you think you're there. You know what I mean? Like, and I see a lot of stuff. In my
Did you
life.
talk about that in one of your videos?
Yeah, my first one.
You'll
I
have to
did.
send me the link because
Okay,
I
I
would
will.
love to watch that.
Oh yeah, it explains everything. It's just
Wow.
pretty weird.
Yeah.
Do you think spirits are always awake? Well, 'cause a lot of people say spirits only come out at night. I think they're always around. What do you think about that?
I think they're always around. I think, you know, for some reason, I just thought the moon. I've never thought of this in my life. But intuitively, something just said the moon, maybe the moon energy. I don't know.
Mhm.
But also, I think at night, it's everyone's settled, everyone's going to bed. There's a lot less energy and like hectic energy going
Mhm.
on. So maybe spirits feel more comfortable coming out because they're not getting messed with other energies. It's peaceful. But I believe that, yeah, definitely that they're around all the time. Like, why not? Like, why limited to only at night? Yeah.
Jax, did you want to take over for a sec? I'll be back. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
I'm always on mute.
Did
Do
you
you
want
have
to?
any? Do you have any spirits like live with you in your home besides the dolls?
Not that I know of. Just the dolls. I think in Caitlin's house here, there's definitely some spirits, but I think there's a portal, so I think spirits may come through. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any spirits live in my home. Well, I'm living at my nan's, and I lived there before I moved to Queensland. And I didn't feel anything there. In Queensland, when I went to visit before I moved up, I felt a presence there. But I think that went away by the time I moved to there. And I was going to do a seance, or just put candles out and try to communicate with anything the day before we moved because Mum wouldn't let me, obviously, because when we were living in it, and the house was
Mm-hmm.
empty. But I was too scared. As soon as the house was empty, I felt that it was back. And it's a presence that wasn't 100% positive at the
Mm-hmm.
start, and I feel like it came back, and this what made me think of maybe, when the house is not full of objects and stuff, everything
Right.
has energy, everything has matter. There's a lot of emotions and things, high, like intense emotions and just personalities in my house. So when everyone was out and only my bed and I was staying in the house last night on a mattress, I felt it there, and Ben and I were getting spooked, and I think it's because it was just clear from all these
Mm-hmm.
other energies that could have been impacting it. So, but yeah, don't think there's anything in my nan's house at the moment.
Well, that's good. So I know you live in Australia. I know there's a lot of cool things over there. Where's like your total dream investigation? What would you most like a place you'd most like to investigate?
Ooh, I don't know about that yet. I've been meaning to. So I'm getting my brother to start a YouTube channel doing fishing, and I want to help him with that. And I want to make like a bucket list with him of places that when our YouTube goes off, or places we can go together. And so I haven't really properly thought about it, sorry, but definitely some of the asylums and like that would always be cool to investigate. But I haven't really thought about it, and because of all the videos I watch, like paranormal channels, they're all overseas, so I don't see much of places in Australia, and there's so many places overseas, like abandoned places and asylums. I'm like so jealous that you guys have access to all of those places.
Well, like when you go, like say if you go to abandoned buildings like that, do you have to like check with the people that like previously had the building?
I haven't been to them yet.
You haven't been to any abandoned buildings? Oh my goodness.
No.
Okay, I haven't either. I mean, I've been to graveyards.
I've just started, but I would love to. An abandoned building, abandoned place in general, that would be awesome to investigate, a whole different kind of content as well. And yeah.
I've been to graveyards. I haven't done any abandoned buildings, but I've been to a lot of graveyards. A lot.
Yeah, I always forget about graveyards. There is one graveyard up this area, which there's one graveyard up this way, which is towards a bit further out of town, a bit more recluse, and where I want to do some of the investigations out that way, Woods Point. And on the way, that's where we found that abandoned house ages ago. I don't know if it's still there.
Oh, okay.
There's a cemetery I completely forgot about, and because I was taking photos back then for like 15, taking photos. I was like, I'm going to be a photographer. And I took some cool photos of a graveyard, but forgot about it. And that's an old graveyard, so that's one graveyard I would like to go to. It's an old one, like that would be interesting, and it's spooky looking. So,
I like the old ones. I like the old, and the new ones are they're pretty, but I like the. I don't know. To me, they have like when you go in old like 1800s, 1900s. There's history there.
100%.
That's like good. You know, you want to know why or how or. And some of the graves are so old that you can't even read the names anymore on them.
Oh yeah.
I think they're so cool when they're older.
Yeah, some of them look so gothic as well. Oh, you're making me want to go there.
But you said, girl, let's go to the graveyard.
My forgetful brain. I forget so many things. I need to put that in my little.
I will text you every other day. Say, Tay, go to the graveyard. Go over there. Get some pictures. You never know what you're gonna get. You never know what you're gonna get. I have something. Everybody the spirits I have in my house, I see them. But I have a man. I have like my uncle from time to time. Nicole told me that it was my uncle watching over me. I had a headache for like 10 days and I could not get rid of it. Like could not get rid of it for 10 days. And I told Nicole, she watched my video with the spirit and she goes, well, ask him what he wants. So I asked him what he wants, and he asked me if my papa was here, and I said from time to time he is. And the headache went away. Boom, gone. I couldn't explain that. And I know there's a little kid in the house because I was at the kitchen and my stove faces towards my living room's behind me. So I seen someone dart behind me, and I said to Jason, he said, there goes Quinn running through the house again, because I have wood floors, and when I clean them, they get very slippery. I said, boy, you're going to bust your head open. It wasn't Quinn. It wasn't Quinn. He goes, Quinn's in the bedroom, and my bedroom is off of the kitchen. He goes, he's in the room under the covers playing his games. I said, that wasn't Quinn. He goes, nope. I'm like, okay. Now you live by there. He puts peekaboo. He actually goes behind the couch too. He'll peek around the couch. My sister and I were sitting here talking one day, and she goes, "What?" I said, "It's all right." She gets freaked out. She gets freaked out. She had a guy in her. She woke up. She was laying in bed 2 months ago. She goes, "Jackie, I woke up, and there was a man there." I said, "Okay." I said, "What did you do?" She goes, "I had to rub my eyes, and then he was gone." I went, "Oh." She sees him from time to time. I mean, I think it's my grandpa. I told her because she's going through a rough time, and she didn't feel anything bad. She didn't feel like it was evil or menacing or anything. It was just maybe it's just my grandpa saying, "Oh, behave." Eli's heard voices in my house when I don't hear them. Like we were gonna do something. And I was saying something. He goes, "What was that woman's voice?" I said, "Oh, that was my Nana saying that's not a good idea that we interview that universe. She says no, goodness, no. I don't want a ghost slap to the back of the head. I don't. I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that.
I've got a question for you. Do you?
I mean,
do you get names in your head often, like of possible spirits? Like
I do sometimes. Like
how accurate are those? I know.
Sometimes I get the letter right, but maybe not all of it. Like I get the first letter right. Like I was on investigation with my friend, and he was on video, and he was like doing it, and he asked the name. I said, I think it starts with I got Elizabeth. I don't know where it came from. Don't know how it popped in my head, and I got E for Elizabeth, and he asked if that was her name, and the spirit box said yes. I'm not always right. Sometimes it's just a letter, not the full name. But I'm far from being a medium. I'm far from being psychic. I'm so far from that. I just know what I know when it comes to me. That's it.
Yeah, like I was actually kind of affirming. So I was watching like the girls talked about earlier, Amanda, and she sees spirits and gets messages all the time. But she did say, I get names a lot, and usually they're wrong. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm not the only one.
No, I don't think everybody can be totally right. I mean, unless you're like, you know, you're a medium that was like badass. Like Nicole, I love Nicole. I love Nicole to death. If I ask something, like I send her pictures of my dolls, she goes, here's my sister sending me pictures of creepy dolls. And well, yeah, my sister has a trunk load, I'm talking a trunk load of porcelain dolls.
Oh, wow. Was
she goes, oh, she's a collector. Yeah. And they were in her house, but she got a divorce, and she was going to put them in a glass cabinet. And those 3 that she gave me, she goes, I don't like those 3. I said, I'll take them. And she goes, they're not moving in my house with me. I'm like, well, you don't want to take those dolls? She goes, no, you can have them. You're the owner. I'm like,
sweet.
Okay, that's fine. She has about 40 of them, at least 40. Wow. Small ones, you know, little ones. She got ones that are like 3 feet tall. She has one. It's my mom bought it for her. It's like a fairy. It's a beautiful doll. I said, why don't you keep it out? She goes, because they did. Like her husband, they just got a divorce after 24 years. He didn't like the dolls. I said, well, next time you move, put them in a cabinet. If you love them, you know, show them. They're beautiful dolls. Some are really old. Some are, you know, fairly new. But I told her, would you want to be in a trunk? She said, no. I said, why are you putting these in there?
Now she's got the freedom to put them out. She doesn't have to have his opinion.
She can just show them on, and she's gonna have to get a pretty good. She might need a couple hutches with glass shelves in them because she has a lot. She's been collecting since she's been a little girl, so she's had those since she was a kid. Some of them were like 15, 16, 17 years old. It's crazy, but she has a lot of dolls. She used to collect Barbies, but she had a house fire and they burned. And I don't know why the dolls didn't burn. That they were in the house too. She said the dolls didn't burn. They were in the chest, and her house burned. Her house was on TV on the Phoenix News. It was on fire, but those dolls did not burn.
Wow.
Just the Barbies. Maybe the fire didn't get to the chest. It's a metal chest, so I don't know. She said the metal chest was pretty, you know, black and, you know, charred and stuff, but no Barbies died.
Amazing.
No Barbies died. She has those dolls though, and then, you know, and I told her, I said, don't ever get rid of them because that's something you've collected for your entire life. A lot of people
and there could be collectibles like in the future, you know, get rid of them. She could make them, but you never know, like they could be family heirlooms. People, you know, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I received things that were someone
Boomer,
like my grandmothers or something. Boomer. Like always
dolls,
back.
Dolls,
Boomer says dolls. There's dolls everywhere. My grandson, when I got this from Nicole, I won it. Okay, my grandson, he was standing up on my shelf. He comes out. He goes, Nana. I said, Quinn. He goes, I'm not going to your room anymore with Jack in there. I said, why? He goes, his arm moved. I said, shut up. He goes, no, Nana, his arm moved. And he goes, it went just like that. I said, so I texted Nicole. I'm like, is Jack haunted? She goes, you never know. You never know. If it came from Nicole, it might be a slight bit on it. Might be a slight bit. But he said it moved, and okay, all right, don't move. So he has his own little spot on the dresser facing me, and I'm like, Jack, please don't move. Don't move, Jack, please. Stay the way you are. You're perfect. Yeah. She hasn't gone to any abandoned buildings yet, Eli. She hasn't. But there's an old graveyard, she said, by where Coach lives, so she's going to go there. I'm going to keep reminding her to take pictures.
That's probably like 30 minutes, 40 minutes from here, and this is 30 minutes out of town, but so worth it.
Yeah, because I want you to experience it. I might never have experienced it, but I know it's pretty wild, you know? So, well,
I can't wait till I get to go to the graveyard and take pictures up in Prescott. I'm excited. I found 2 of my digital cameras. They were buried in a box. I'm like, we're ready. Ready to go do this.
Huh. Hell yeah. I heard this weird feeling, but good feeling as well. Some people say it's relaxing and everything else.
You never know what you're going to get. You never know. You can go take a picture of old tombstones and you may have something there. You never know. I found 2 of them. So Jason has one and I have one. We're just going to go up there and we're going to get, my sister's going to go with us because she goes, I want to go. I said, well, let's all go. So the next day off, we're going to go up there and go even in the daytime, like I went there with my mom when we first moved here. She goes, let's go check out the old cemetery. Eli interviewed my mom. She has seen some pretty crazy crap in her life. Pretty crazy stuff. So we were walking through this graveyard, and on one of this tombstone, there was a boot. We were just talking about this earlier. There was an old boot. And when you go up the rows and come down the road, and all these rows are dirt. It's all dirt. There's no grass. There's no nothing. And that's how old it is. So you walk the road, we come down the other row, and the boot's on that tombstone. I looked at my mom, and I said, Mom, that was on that rock. That was on that tombstone right there. She goes, yeah. So we go, she goes, maybe they wanted us to find the other boot. I said, well, there's only one boot. How are we going to find the other one? She goes,
I'll check it after, Boomer. So, yeah, man, one thing about the paranormal is like, we always got to respect the paranormal because they were just like us, and
they still are.
We still understand them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't understand,
just because they died does not mean they're still not with us. They're always with us.
We're all gonna die one day. So
I know, right?
I told my grandson that. I said, "Boy, you're born in diapers and dying." She goes, "What?" I said, "Nothing. Just forget it.
Exactly.
Just forget it. Forget it." I'm supposed to be immortal. I told my grandson, we were talking about death one time, and his dog died. I said, "Baby, everybody lives and everybody dies." He says, "Nana, you can't die." I said, "Buddy, one day I'm going to get really old and I am going to die." He goes, no. Mm-hmm. You have to live to like 125. I said, "Oh shit, that's a tall order, boy." I don't know. If Quinn thinks I'm immortal, Quinn thinks I'm never going to die. I'm always going to look like this and never die.
We'll see.
He'll get older and understand, but right now I just say, "Okay, buddy," because he gets very emotional. He cries if I say one day I'm going to die. He gets very emotional about that, so we don't talk about death with him. He doesn't like it. "No, Nana, you can't die. You can't leave me." I said, "You're going to be very old when I die, Quinn. You're going to be older. You're not going to even, you'll know." And he's like, "No, Nana, I won't talk about it. I'm getting upset." He'll cry. Wow. And then if I make him cry, Eli gets on me. Leave that boy alone. I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah. He protects Quinn. He's Quinn's protector.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to go to end this, guys. Would you like to share your channel out? I already put your link out there. And what's your next quest into the paranormal?
Well, my channel's Get Spooked with Tay. One piece of advice, if you're going to search it up, unless you can get a link somewhere, you have to filters and press channel, because otherwise it's so hard to find it. And my next paranormal quest is, well, I haven't decided what the next one is, but I do want to interview my sister and my nan. But for paranormal investigations at places, it's going to be either at the general store just here, or it will be probably up at Woods Point Way if I can find that abandoned place, or stay at the hotel up there, or stay at the hotel here. There's just so much history around here, but yeah, I'm not too sure what it's going to be next. So That'll be surprised, I guess.
Cool. Awesome.
I would love to be 22 again and be an investigator. I would love to be 22 again and go, I'm going to do this thing. But I didn't start doing this until I was 48. So I'm kind of end of the years a little bit. It's all right. It's all right.
Exactly, right, Boomer?
I'll get it. That's all right.
All right.
Eli and I are going to go straight to the top with this paranormal stuff. We're going to be like, we're all, we got this.
Right. Jack, would you like to say something before I end?
No, hey, y'all need to go sub Get Spooky with Tay. She got some cool stuff, bro. I like the dolls. You have to go check her out. And everybody that's been here today, thank you so much for coming. I know it's what time it is. I don't know what time it is there. 6:30 here, 7:30 for Eli. And I know it's still early for Tay because she's going in the afternoon.
She's gonna go fishing soon,
yeah, she's gonna go fishing. She loves to go fishing. Make sure you video that. I want to see you fishing.
Yeah, for real.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me on this interview. I feel so blessed.
And you got some more subs, girls. So go check out your channel. I'm sure you did.
Well, guys, thank you for being here, being part of my journey, and letting me be part of yours. And like I said, thank you for being a friend, and I'll see you next time.